Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this important night, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send His mercy and blessing upon all of you, my brothers and sisters, and also our parents and teachers. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant complete shafa to all illness brothers, sisters who requested dua and are related to our majalis. Bibarakati salabat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. الصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إلهنا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته المعصومين المكرمين. قال مولانا علي بن موسى الرضا والمؤمن إذا غضب لم يخرجه غضبه عن حق، وإذا رضي لم يدخله رضاه في باطل، وإذا قدر لم يأخذ أكثر من حق. صلوات. Alhamdulillah, in the past session we had the tawfiq to discuss 9 wisdom and spiritual guidance of Imam Raza alayhi salatu wassalam. We came to this point that Imam Raza alayhi salatu wassalam says, وَالْمُؤْمِنْ إِذَا غَضَبَ لَمْ يُخْرِجْهُ غَضَبَهُ عَنْ حَقٍّ. When mu'min become angry, this anger does not allow him to pass the border and the limit of the righteous, of the right and justice. Always he is in the middle of the way. We discussed this part of the hadith last Friday together. وَإِذَا رَضِيَ لَمْ يُدْخِلْهُ رِضَاهُ فِي بَاطِلٍ. This part of the hadith is very important. Unfortunately, brothers and sisters, many of the people who are not educated in the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam, they cannot pass the exam in the specific situation and circumstances. Brothers, sisters, in the regular circumstances, in the normal situation, there is no exam. You are or neutral, normal, there is no problem. But in special circumstances, how the person speaks, judge, behave. Imam Raza alayhi salatu wasalam says, when the mu'min is very happy, when the mu'min is very satisfied from a person or a circumstances or any event, إِذَا رَضَى لَمْ يُدْخِلْهُ رَضَاهُ فِي بَاطِلٍ. This high happiness, this high satisfaction does not allow him to judge unfair does not allow him to pass the border, does not allow him to talk like an extremist person. That is very important point, brothers and sisters. So, means mu'min is always a moderate person in all different situations and circumstances. If you love a person, how do you judge and how do you talk about him or her? If you love a person, then do you see the negative characteristic of him or her? No. That's why Imam Raza says, إِذَا رَضَى لَمْ يُدْخِلْهُ رَضَاهُ فِي بَاطِلٍ. If your enemy comes to you for a judgment, and he is against your best friend, right? He is against your beloved one, right? And he is your enemy. How do you judge? How do you speak behind him? It is the point. If you can pass this important and short exam, then you are mu'min. Before I explain a very wonderful story about one of the friends of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, I would like to ask you, brothers and sisters, this statement of the hadith of Imam Raza alayhi salatu wassalam is very bright. And we can have many examples in our daily basis, daily life. Now I would like brothers and sisters to discuss for 5 minutes, and then after 5 minutes give us some kind of the examples that we may encounter in our daily life, either in friendship, family, relatives, work, college, students, co-workers, okay? Then these examples, inshallah, will be helpful for all the audience. Take your time for 5 minutes with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Okay, make a group of 4, 5, or 1 row, for example.
Can you clarify that question for us? Because we're not sure we understand. We forgot the question.
Yeah. Who can explain the question to us? Anybody would like to explain? I think you know the question. Would you like to explain?
Sure.
They'll just discuss it.
You need example. You need daily, 2-day example. Okay? Contemporary example for these hadiths.
Where we might have talked about them badly, but we don't.
If we are very happy and satisfied from a person or event, okay, then in that sense we may pass the border of the justice. We may not be fair. As I mentioned the example, if your enemy, your worst enemy, comes to you for a judgment against your best friend, how do you judge? If you can judge very fair, even if your judgment is against your best friend and you are biased, then are you biased or unbiased? Okay? We need some examples, contemporary example of our daily basis, that how with all happiness and satisfaction still we can keep the justice and fairness.
You take this and both. Let's take this one and the other one. Other one for example, you're in a position for a gift, give a green to your son or your sister. How you know this?
Okay, one more minute. Amira, please take the microphone. The white microphone. Which one? Yeah.
You can take these 2-3 examples.
Okay.
For when you have the over there on the next one. Yeah.
Okay. We have like 3 examples of something that would happen in daily life that would be that would fit in that and according to the hadith. One would be when you are in a position where you're able to hire someone, where you're like the boss and you have people applying. Maybe you're someone, a relative, a brother, or or someone you know is applying to the job, but they're not qualified as much so as someone else, or they might be, in a situation where they're not qualified at all, and you have to choose between hiring the person you know and hiring someone who is qualified for the job. That's one of the examples would be of being just or unjust. Another thing would be, before we go to the second example, let's go one by one. If then we need more examples, we'll come back to you. Ahsantum. Okay, second row. Yeah, you are the second row from back.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Another example, in addition to what our brother said, where you're in a situation where you have to decide between just and unjust issues, is let's say if you're a Muslim cop, police officer, and you pull over someone and you find out that the person that you pulled over is also a Muslim. And now you have a big decision to give the brother a ticket or let him go.
Yeah, good example. MashaAllah. Okay.
I guess the brothers don't have anything. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Okay.
So sometimes I have a few these school friends who get into a lot of fights, and they always try to drag me in between them. So they'd like be sending me emails. They'd be sending me emails that's like, oh, she's still not mad at me, and oh, what should I do, and blah blah blah. So, well, I know that if I get involved in that fight, it would be unjust to both sides, because I could be telling one to do something, like, I could be telling, friend A to, like, do something to friend B, and tell friend B to do something else to friend A, and, it would cause a whole lot of trauma, and it would be completely unfair to both sides. So, in those situations, I just ignore them and, tell them to figure it out, so.
أحسنتم. Okay. MashaAllah, your discussion was very hot, but now you don't have any example. No example? Okay. Second row.
Yeah, she has one example. Yeah, she
Okay.
has one example. And it's good.
Maybe you were talking about something else. That's why. Shocking.
Actually, this happened to me today, and somebody was talking bad about my best friend, and I listened, and I kind of say, yeah, I know this part that you mentioned is her weakness, but she's really a good friend, and she has other good qualities, and I thought I made a fair judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we talking about?
Yeah. Ahsan. Any other example? Okay. Please recite the salawat. Ahsantum. So brothers and sisters, we learn from Imam Raza alayhi salatu wasalam and these important examples that in our daily life, in some circumstances, we may be happy from someone or some event, but this happiness and satisfaction should not allow us to speak unfair or judge unfair or to make a decision unfair. Hajuniyeh is one of the followers of Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. This lady at her young age was the companion of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. After the shahadat and the martyrdom of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, Muawiyah came to perform Hajj. Muawiyah was Haji too, right? Haji man. Muawiyah came to perform Hajj, and he was informed that this lady, Hajuniyah, still is alive. He is one of the strong follower of and supporter of Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. He asked her. She came, and Muawiyah asked her, O Hajuniyah, did you see Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wassalam alive directly? She said yes. How was he? Hajuniyah said, when I saw Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, I remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the day of judgment. Okay, have you heard his voice? Hajuniyah said yes. Any time that I used to hear the voice of Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, it was like a light in my heart. It purified the heart. Okay. What do you want? What is your desire? What is your hajat? She said, give me 100 red camels. Red camel is the best kind of camel, like fully loaded car. Give me 100 red camel. Muawiyah said, okay, I will grant you 100 red camels. And now, do you like me? And do you respect me as the level of Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wassalam? As you love Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wassalam? Because if Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam was alive at this time and you ask him 100 red camels, he may not give you because he was very fair person, right? Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam was very sharp in dividing Baytul Mal Muslimin, in distributing the Baytul Mal among Muslims. He was very fair. This is really important example and test. وإذا رضي لم يدخله رضاه في باطل. Look, if you are instead of this sister Hajuniye and you are receiving 100 red camel, 100 the top fully loaded cars, what do you say at that time when Muawiyah asks you? When Muawiyah asks, okay, now am I in the same level of Hazrat Ali alayhi salam in your heart? Right? Now, this happiness and this satisfaction of this sister Hajuniye, what lead? Lead to say yes? She smiled and said, no, you are not equal with Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, definitely. If you want to take back your camels, take it back. This is the important example, brothers and sisters. Some people may not have the capacity of even one car, one camel. And it's the example of 100. وَإِذَا قَدَرَ لَمْ يَأْخُذْ أَكْثَرُ مِنْ حَقِّهِ. Imam Raza says, a complete, strong person. This is the last part of the hadith of Hazrat Ali, Imam Raza, and then inshallah we will start new subject. He says, a complete, perfect person, لَمْ يَأْخُذْ أَكْثَرُ مِنْ حَقِّهِ. If he is strong, and if he is capable and able to get whatever he wants, even more than his right, he will not do it. He will not take more than his right, even if he is able, he is capable. At this point, before I continue and give you some historical story and examples, again, I would like you to give us some contemporary examples that we may encounter in our daily life. How and in what kind of circumstances we may be capable to ask or to take more than our right. We may be able, either speaking, behavior, or official rights, whatever. Okay? Please help us and give us some more examples. 5 minutes with a salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. ندارم بزن.
But they're giving an example of something that you or somebody had an opportunity to learn something that they're giving it to you. They're giving it to you. You're not really asking for more. I would say, but then And you're not taking university as a base of, yeah. Are you taking you're not taking it as a form of you're taking it
How about when you go to like a CF class? Get a water cup.
there you go, you know, so that's you know what I mean? It's water, right? Oh, we're sorry, our example's too good. No. I got an example. I can say that. But then you go with like your sister. Like something I was first. You're not supposed to. That's what I'm saying.
If you can bring some family example, that also will be very
Go
useful.
with the first, and you just like shove the candies into the Arizona. Exactly. You're not supposed to. I think you could get away with it. You could get away with it, but you just say, I know. That was my sacrificial one. Yeah, I know. Because it just says, yes, I want. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. See? It's on time. It's okay. It's okay. No, it's not. No, actually, that's the last one. No, because they're using it as a test to send out movies on demand, right? When they come out, not having to go to theaters and then wait like 6 months. Yeah, exactly. So they're using it as a test for that. No, they are. That's your conspiracy. Oh, yes. So you wanted to make the most of it. Because they're like, oh, this is something good. I'm doing that. I'm sure they want $15. On demand, like, the movie just came out. You gotta watch it. No, I'm saying I would watch around the Texas and all the days. All the food I want. Rather than watch go to the theater and pay $12 for tickets there and have That's what I'm saying. So this is the first movie that works. So everyone should be renting this entire. It's the $6.
1 minute.
Now. It's gonna be worth it. No. I'm saying no pirate. It's not that good. What do you expect? Why don't you just go Rogan and Seth Rogen and James They're really rough.
Okay. Please recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Okay.
So one family situation that we all agreed upon was abuse of quantity. So for instance, every day we'd have a limited amount of time on the computer, but sometimes certain family members, they would abuse that rule, and while our parents are sleeping or out of the house or using the bathroom or whatever, like out of the way, they would use the computer much more than their time allows. So that's one of the things that we.
Ahsantum, mashallah. Very good example. And confidence.
Years ago, I learned that kind of using your power of possession
Mhm.
As an example, I learned that, for example, you have some items that you purchased for a special event, and then the event is finished, and you have a lot of those items that are left over.
Mhm.
But those items were purchased with an intention in mind that it was supposed to be for this group of people or whatever, and then people take that stuff home and use it for themselves without actually getting the permission.
Mhm.
That happens often, but when you don't do that, you store it and you save it instead for the next, or bring it on, or get permission to use it instead. It's,
Ahsantum. MashaAllah. Very important example, MashaAllah. What else, sisters? Okay. Please stand.
So somebody's driving a car with their friend next to them, and they're texting on their phone while it's a green light, and someone from behind crashes into them. And then the friend comes out and is taking a picture of the car accident to go to the police. And the person who was driving tells him that no, it was my fault. And yeah, that's it.
Ahsantum. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Very good. MashaAllah. Mhm.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So let's say you go to a restaurant or a fast food like Subway or Panda Express, and then when you order your food, you ask the cashier for a water cup. And now when you go to the station, you have a decision to really take water, or you can take Sprite, which looks like water.
MashaAllah. Very good example. Ahsantum. Ahsantum. So the water comes free over? Okay.
That's true.
Okay. Okay. شما read this. It's open discussion.
Well, one more example would be when you are on the job and your job description says you can, for example, if you work at Best Buy or you work at one of those, a Target or something like that, and your job tells you that you need to clean up the aisles and do things and stack up products and stuff, and you don't really work directly under a supervisor, so you can choose to do it, or you can waste some of the time that you're paid for. And wasting the time would be the wrong choice, because you're paid for that time, and you should be spending it doing the job.
MashaAllah, very good example. أحسنتم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Do you have some examples, brothers? No? Okay. Really, brothers and sisters, one of the fundamental character that all the society needs for the growth is this character. وإذا قدر لم يأخذ أكثر من حقه. When the person is capable to get more than his right, then he does not. That is a very important example. At the beginning of the Islamic history, especially at the time of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, you see that Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam has brought a very turning point, important growth and development in not only in Islamic civilization, but also in the entire world. Later on, the Western civilization grew because of the Islamic civilization. They got a lot of inheritance from Islamic civilization. Why? Because Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, at the time of his Khilafat, when he was capable, when he had the power, there wasn't any other person higher than him to watch him, to control him. He was very fair person. One young man. In the history of Islam, those who saw the Prophet, peace be upon him, we called them Sahaba or companion. And those who didn't see the Prophet, peace be upon him, but they saw the Sahaba, we called them Tabi'in. This young man, at that time, he was Tabi'in. And for the first time, he entered Kufa, the capital of Prophet, the Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wassalam, in order to pray Jum'ah prayer behind the Imam, behind the Khilafah. And he came with his father. He came with his father to see the Khalifa. And now, how he expects? Maybe he expects that when the Khalifa comes, there are a very special guard, right? And they will put red carpet for him, for example, and he's going to lead the Jum'ah prayer. And he saw that someone is in the mihrab with a wet clothes, and he's shaking his clothes to get dry. He says, I asked my father, oh father, who is he? Is he the Khalifa? At the time of Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam, the Islamic territory was the strongest, the most powerful territory in the world. Because before that, two strong empire, Iranian Empire and Roman Empire, they collapsed. So Islamic territory was the largest and the most powerful. He says that, I asked my father, is he Khalifa? Where is his guard? Where is his red carpet? And why his clothes is wet? Why is drying his clothes? Do you understand? Do you know what is the response and the reply of his father? His father said, yeah, he is our Khalifa. He is the one that Prophet appointed him to be his successor. But some other people, another 3 people, they got his position. And the son asked the father, why his clothes is wet? He said, because he's working. He was working in the palm tree garden, Nakhlistan, and his clothes was dirty. He washed his clothes in the garden, and he has one clothes. And now he came to Jum'ah prayer. Okay? However, Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam was able, like his previous Khalifa, the 3rd Khalifa. Hazrat Ali was the 4th, according to Sunni brothers, and he, like the previous Khalifa, the 3rd Khalifa, he was able to divide the Baytul Mal, the unlimited income of Baytul Mal according to his desire. He doesn't need to develop the Islamic financial and economy. Before Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, Kufa was a very, very small village. After his demise, means in 5 years. After the shahadat of Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, Kufa was the largest city in the world. Over 1 million palm trees was in Kufa because of Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. And also the Silk Way, the Silk Road, Rah Abrisham, was passing and engineering by Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam in order to develop the Islamic financial and economy. How about the 3rd Khalifa? Do you know, brothers and sisters, the 3rd Khalifa was killed by Muslims? Did you know that? Why? What is the reason, as a Muslim, as a young Muslim, if you are asked that why Muslims rebelled against their own Khalifa and killed him? Why? Because of this factor, because of this part of the hadith of Imam Raza alayhi salatu wasalam. إِذَا قَدَرَ لَمْ يَأْخُذْ أَكْثَرُ مِنْ حَقِّهِ. He was divided Baytul Mal and the Islamic income according to his wishes, more than his right. Abu Zar says, I came to Khalifa, to the third Khalifa, and there was a lot of golden coin in front of the Khalifa. He was very happy, the third Khalifa. I asked him, okay, what are you going to do with this? He said, I expect more is coming from Iran, inshallah, and then I will make my decision. What Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam swore to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if I have a storage of gold and a storage of, we call it Joe, for example, I will distribute the gold to all people with justice, justicefully first. The brother, let me finish the story with this important point and lesson of Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam. The brother of Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. What is the name of his brother? Aqil. He is buried in Qabristan al-Baqi in Medina. Aqil was a very knowledgeable person. He was blind at the end of his life, and he was very poor also at the end of his life. He was disabled, he couldn't work. He came to Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam in order to get a loan from Baytul Mal. And Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam is Khalifa at that time. The third Khalifa was killed. Why? Because he was taking more than his right, and also he was giving the important key position of the Islamic government to his relatives, families, regardless the qualification. No. Relation was matter for the third Khalifa. Aqil asked Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, Ya Ali, Alhamdulillah, now I'm very happy and proud. My brother is Khalifa and he has access to everything, all money, everything. Give me some loan, I'm in need. You have access to Baytul Mal, mashallah, give me some gold from Baytul Mal as a loan, inshallah. When I'll be able to return it, inshallah, I will return my loan back to you. Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wassalam brought a flame of fire. He was blind, but when the flame get close to his hand, he felt. And he said, Ya Ali, what are you doing? I asked for your help and you are going to burn me? Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam told to his brother, look, this is the materialistic, limited fire in this world. You are asking me because of the relation. I give you a loan from Baytul Mal. Are you the only in need person in the Islamic territory? Should I give the loan to you? How about others? No. If I do it, I have to carry this fire on the day of judgment. You cannot be tolerant for this small fire. You cannot take it. And on the day of judgment, how I can answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So brothers and sisters, let us close this beautiful, important hadith of Imam Raza alayhi salatu wasalam that alhamdulillah for the last few months we are discussing together. If we can practically use this direction and the guidance of Imam Raza alayhi salatu wasalam, then we don't need anything else. Then we always be straightforward. Then no temptation was upon us, no temptation. And always you will be successful. You will be the honored one here among the people and also in the day of judgment. Inshallah, next Friday I will make a summary of this hadith, and inshallah you can have it and memorize this hadith. It's very important, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, make your decision with the will and the support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be fair. Use your eyes in the right way. What is the eyes? Not this materialistic eyes. Inside. Basira. When the person has basira, always he is fair. Regardless the person is enemy or the friend. There is in our hadith that اطلب العلم ولو من أهل النفاق. If the worst person is knowledgeable, you have to feel, you have to understand. This worst person is honored by knowledge. Be humble and learn from him. But if we say, no, he is bad person, and we cannot be fair, we cannot see all the positive characteristic and negative characteristic, because our sense, because our emotion, then we are hurting ourselves. We will not grow. اللهم إنا نسألك وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم. إلهنا بحق قرآنك المستحكم استجب دعاءنا يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج والعافية والناس وجعلنا من خير أعوانه وأنصاره. اللهم اشف كل مريض. اللهم اقض حوائجنا الشرعية جزئية وكلية ظاهرية وباطنية دنيوية وأخروية. اللهم سلم مسافرينا. اللهم اقض حوائجنا. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات سيما أموات جمع الحاضرين. رحم الله لمن يقرأ الفاتحة مع الإخلاص والصلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
May Allah accept from all of you, my brothers and sisters. If there is any question, Bismillah. Yes.
So, in the beginning, you told us, like, to put ourselves in Imam Ali, like, his companion's position. But, wouldn't it does, because, now that, we've learned all of the mistakes that some of his companions have made in the past and what his enemies have done. Naturally, most of us would say no to Muawiyah's question. So wouldn't it seem more of wouldn't it seem unfair and inaccurate analogy if trying to put yourself in her place?
I didn't get your point exactly. Can you specify?
Well, now that we know, we've got Islamic history, and we know all the mistakes that Imam Ali's and all the Imams, all of, that some of their companions and their enemies, the mistakes that they've made. So naturally, to Muawiyah's question when he asked her, if she put him in Imam Ali's position. Most of us would say no, because we already know, that's the right answer. But back then, they didn't have all that knowledge that we have today. So wouldn't it seem inaccurate and not exactly a good analogy if we tried to make one?
First, we know that Imam are mahsoom and they have no mistake. And secondly, this is obligatory on us, wajib, to know Imam our leaders. من مات ولم يعرف إمام زمانه مات ميتة الجاهلية. We have in ahadith that if a person does not spend the time to know Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam and their leader completely, then if he pass away, his Islam, his Iman, his faith will not be accepted totally. So this sister Hajunet that I mentioned, her knowledge about Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam complete, and also her characteristic were very honored and complete. That's why she answered no to Muawiyah. Maybe if another person instead of her, and she has the knowledge, but she doesn't have the bravery or she doesn't have the strength, she may say, yeah, of course, you are better than Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam, na'udzubillah, right? So beside the knowledge, we need the strength and we need the characteristic as well. Okay, so the knowledge itself is not working. Okay. Yes.
When we're praying and we're in the position of ruku, should our eyes be looking at the qibla or between the feet?
Yeah. It is recommended. It is not obligatory, wajib. When you are praying, brothers and sisters, if the eyes turn right or left, it is okay. Okay? But it is highly recommended. When you are standing, look at your mohr. When you are in ruku, look between your feet. And when you go to sajda, if it is possible, look at the tip of your nose. And when you go to ruku, between your legs. Okay? Yes.
When we stand up for the Imam Zaman, is that the right hand we should put on top of, is it, or doesn't matter, or left hand?
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome. Yes, sister. I'm not sure.
Somebody was saying, so I was just, if you can just pray, do something for her.
I'm not sure. Any other question?
What was the question?
What is the occasion? Is there any occasion today?
No, not today.
He says no.
She wants to do Latmiya. She wants to do Latmiya. She wants to do
Okay, mashallah, welcome. Come here. What's your name? Sakina, mashallah. Okay, louder, Sakina. MashaAllah. What is the next one? Do you know? MashaAllah. How old are you?
الطفل في